Okay. All right. Charlie, thank you so much for joining me today. If we could start, if you could just state your name, a little bit about your background, your major, and the SAT program that you chose.
My name is Charlie Ta. I am a senior at Oregon State University. My major is in bioresource research and international studies. And I chose my SAT Vietnam program because I wanted to go back to my home country where my parents are from, and I wanted to learn more about the language and the culture, which I haven't had that much opportunity to immerse with here when in the States.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So it was going back home for you. That's fantastic. So when you made the decision that you wanted to go back to Vietnam, obviously you've known that. What made you choose SAT in particular?
Well, the more obvious reason was that it was one of the few programs that had a program in Vietnam, and the other was that it was also a program that was also sanctioned by my home university to get credits transferred for and to get grades to complete my international degree, which also required a foreign language mastery as well.
And did you enter the program with any sort of Vietnamese language to begin with?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I was raised learning Vietnamese as my first language, and I learned English. And through the program, I actually got to low advance in my Vietnamese studies.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. So for the next question, you just mentioned that, for your major, for your international studies, the credits were able to transfer. Tell
Yes.
me about the ISP that you chose. And does the research that you chose for your ISP, are you able to use that again in the future in any way for your degree?
So the ISP I chose is titled Contextualizing or Recontextualizing or Redefining Sustainability in the Context of Ho Chi Minh City, or along those lines. But the ISP there is to ask about what sustainable development means to the Vietnamese people in Ho Chi Minh City, and then to ask for their opinions and perspective on how they categorize that between the economic, social, and political aspects of the word sustainability, since it's founded that sustainability development has a kind of three-pillar meaning to it. And through the ISP, I am currently working on further expanding on its work to use for my thesis for my international degree program.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Was the ISP experience for you, had you had any prior, did you ever have any experience conducting research on your own before writing a formal research paper or anything like that? Or was this the first time for you?
This was the second time. My first time I did more of a quantitative study, so this was more of a qualitative study with the ISP. So it was a very different aspect of study, and even though it's related to doing research, conducting research, it's more on the social science side than it is on the scientific side. So it's a really different experience, but both did help me, at least in the writing portions of writing up a thesis.
Okay, great. So a question for you. I mean, obviously, you had prior experience and knowledge within Vietnam and within the culture and the language, and you felt very at home there, I'm assuming. Was there anything about the program that surprised you? Maybe like, a highlight of the program that looking back on you sort of didn't expect?
I guess making friends, that was not something I was expecting much, since even though it was a group-oriented program, which is what I wanted, since previously I studied abroad, an exchange study in the United Kingdom, and that was by myself. So it was harder to make friends that way than it is when you're coming as a group of students from the US to come to learn about something collectively that we all wanted to learn about, which is the country of Vietnam. And through that, I made a lot of great friends on the program, and a lot of the host students as well that helped in Vietnam. So I'm actually really grateful for that, and I'm actually hoping to go back and visit them soon.
Oh, great. Oh, that'd be fantastic. So you still keep in touch?
Yes.
Good, good. Okay. So taking a step back then here, if you came across someone who wasn't familiar really with SIT's modeling, how we model our programs, anything about the ISP, how would you explain, an SIT program to someone who wasn't familiar with it at all?
Right. I would say an SIT program is to gather a cohort of, very open-minded, friendly students that are willing and open to knowing more about a country that they've never possibly gone to, and to be with a group of people that are very like-minded in discovery and adventure and trying to do something new that they haven't done before, and to then make bonds and friendship. Hopefully that will carry on through after the program as well.
As in your case.
Yes.
Great, great. So to any prospective students who are out there who are watching this video and thinking about this program, is there something that you wish you had known before departing that maybe you want to pass along, or with your existing abundant knowledge of Vietnamese and Vietnamese culture? Is there something you'd like to pass along as sort of just any tips to prospective students?
From what I've heard, advice-wise, I would say, just if you're interested in going through an SIT program or to study abroad for your first time, I would say SIT program is a great gateway into traveling. There's a lot of students that went to Vietnam found the country very friendly, very open to foreigners, and very helpful. None of us really had problems, at the local level with basic, I guess, petty crimes that had occurred. But a lot of students afterwards, went on to going throughout Southeast Asia, to the Philippines, or to Laos and Cambodia and Thailand, or even to Japan and other countries, in that area. And it really opened up a lot of their eyes to different cultures and different perspectives. So, my advice to more prospective students is, if you're already wanting to go, then you're kind of already there, and you just gotta push forward and apply and just complete the application and just be gung-ho about it and just get it done, because it is an adventure of a lifetime, and not many people get the opportunity to go somewhere they haven't been before, out of their comfort zone, and to a place that doesn't require you to know their language that well as a traveler. And you have a lot of great support network there as well, through the staff and the local student volunteers, and they are more than willing to give you a ride and help you out with anything that you ask them.
Good. That's good to hear. That support in country is definitely an important aspect of the program, and something that we do strive for. So thank you very much for saying that.
Yeah.
Last question for you, just Charlie, is there any other information that we haven't covered, anything that you'd like to share?
Let's see, anything. Well, I guess vaccination's always been a big question from a lot of alumni. I would say vaccination, depending on where you conduct your ISP, it's then also dependent on what you need. Most commonly rabies, even though it's suggested on the CDC website, it's very rare you would come in contact with other wild animals. So it's not necessary unless you think you're gonna interact with wild animals. Japanese encephalitis is recommended if you go somewhere that's not in the main city or main traveling sites, but SST kind of coordinates that already, so that you're mainly staying in well-traveled areas. And if you're drinking bottled water, Japanese encephalitis isn't a big problem, only if you drink unfiltered tap water or something like that, and that's not a big problem. But do get bring malaria pills. That's nice to have, or bring a lot of bug sprays, things that anti-itching, cortisones, anything like that, and to get your yellow fever vaccination. Definitely get yellow fever, but there are some cases, some people do get malaria here and there, unfortunately. So just bring preventatives, particularly for the mosquitoes, and use mosquito nets that are provided in the program.
Yes, good. And again, all the vaccinations now, they're in the pre-departure documents. The medical team sort of handles all of that. And like you said, good, checking the CDC website as well is also a very good reference. Yeah. Okay. Well, Charlie, thank you again very much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Yeah, no problem, Kira.